Okay, today is June 10th, 2025, and this is the next update to the pepper series. So not much is happening except I am starting to do propagation because I love this plant right here. So this here is a chocolate primo tally, and I didn't know how much I like it until it started growing and producing peppers. And now, man, I really like it. I like the way it looks. And some of the pods are pretty big. Back here, look at this. See if you can see it. There it is right there. And then the pod is starting to turn chocolate right there. This is just a smaller one. There's a few in the back up there that are quite large. And I really like it. And so I had to trim the plant back as a... If you watched the last video, it was the branches were coming out of the air garden, and it dropped all of the flowers because when it come out of the light right here, it doesn't get any. Like for example, here you see there's no light getting to it, and so a lot of the times when that happens, the plant is just not going to do well. Peppers do need a lot of sunlight, a lot of light if you grow indoors, and so I trimmed it. You see here, I trimmed that one right there. And because I love the plant so much, I decided that I'll propagate it. And so I took a bunch of the branches that I like that are big enough. I decided to propagate it. So I'm going to grow it later. And all I did is just add some water, put the branches in, cut all the leaves back, the large leaves, just leave a little bit. And look at this, guys. Let me show you. Just plain water only. Look at that. You see the root? And now if you put in hydroponic nutrients, this thing is going to take off and it's going to grow a ton of roots. And so if you're growing plants and you decided you really like it and you only grew one and you want more, try this method. It's pretty easy. All you have to do, again, as I mentioned, is take a container of water. It doesn't matter what container it is. Just put water in there. And then place your cutting in, and then just wait. Sometimes it takes a few weeks. Sometimes it takes up to a month and a half. But guarantee, if you put a bunch of branches, one of them will sprout roots, and you're gonna have a new plant. So on top of the propagation, I decided I'm going to do grafting. I love grafting plants and trees. And so peppers is also a fun way to do graft experiments. And pepper grafting is so super easy. You're rarely going to get any failed grafts if you do it, almost correctly. You don't have to do 100% correct. And so I'm pretty confident that if you try it, it's going to work. You see, this here is a graft. This plant here is a gochu pepper. And of course, gochu is an annuum, and this primo tally chocolate here is a chinense. And so you can still graft it, cross varieties and everything. And so I've done a Thai pepper onto a Scotch bonnet and all that stuff, and it worked just fine. So this graft has been here for a few weeks now, and it even sprouted. You see, new shoots right here. And then I took the same piece from that one, and I grafted onto the gochu right here. And so let me tell you about grafting. And so if you graft peppers, the original rootstock is always going to try to outgrow the grafted section. Look at all my flowers that drop because you see it falls outside of the grow light, and so it drops all the flowers. So anyway, so here I grafted the primo tally, the chocolate primo tally, onto this gochu, and then the original rootstock decided to grow, and it grew really large, and so the grafted section stopped. So if you want the grafted section to grow, you need to cut back the original rootstock growth in order for the energy to be focused here. Same thing as fruit varieties, fruit trees and all that stuff. It's the same concept, so nothing different. And so I forgot about it because I went out of town for like a week and a half. And of course, when you go out of town for a week and a half, you make sure that there's nutrients in here. And so this thing got really big. And this side here also got really big. And then all the energy stopped. So it stopped growing this section. And so when I got back, I cut it. I cut all of the sides back. And it's starting to grow now. So if you're doing grafting, make sure you let the grafted section grow as big as you can before you let this grow, if you want it to. So if you want both varieties, you have to let the grafted section grow first to get all the energy, and then you can allow these to grow. But if you let these grow, it'll stop growing these. So it's the same with fruit trees and everything. Okay, and so I started a few more varieties because it's going to be, these are fun experiments. And once those rooted, I'm going to grow those in hydroponic. And this one here is, I think it might be a gochu. So I'm going to grow that for fun in hydroponic. And then my death spiral, I wasn't paying attention outside, and I let the raised bed dried up, and the plant died because I didn't put the drip irrigation onto the plant when I went out of town. And so I'm starting a new one here. This is a death spiral. I started this a few weeks ago, and look at that, guys. It's gonna grow pretty strong. In hydroponic, it's gonna grow pretty fast, so it's gonna catch up soon. And I'm using that to cross with my StarRacha Hornet. The project is still going. I started last year, but there was some setbacks, so now I'm gonna continue and get it going. So this season, the DeathStarr project is gonna continue. Okay, so let's go outside and I'll show you what's going on out there. Okay, here we are outside, and this is my Super Pequin. In the last video, it was really struggling because I moved it from hydroponic into the ground, and so it does go through a process where you get set back, and now it's starting to come back. The fruits are looking great, guys. Look at that. So this is a cross between a Pequin and a StarRacha Hornet. So it looks just like a little Pequin. The peppers, the plant has hair and everything. And this is the biggest it'll get. You see? But it is crazy spicy. So it's like a little firecracker. You see? All of the new growth is starting to come. Look at that. See, it's looking healthy again. So this plant is going to look great, produce really awesome fruits that are just small and packed with heat. Okay, so here is my StarrGazer. And man, the past few days we got rain. Look at that. You see? That filled up from last night. And so, yeah, this tree is starting to get more pods. I think there's a red one somewhere. Look at this. You see? The pod is starting to change color. So I'm getting a few pods here and there to use. So, but new pods are starting to form, so they're all over the place now. It's hard to see because they kind of look like the leaves. See? And this one here is my hydroponic chocolate primotali also, I think. And so the problem with this here is this container is so small. It's only a little less than a gallon. And so when I went out of town for, a week, it dried up. And when it dried up, the leaves started to fall, the flowers, and everything started to kind of fall off. And I came back, I saved it in time, but it lost all of this. And so growing hydroponic in a Kratky setup like this outside in Texas heat is very, very difficult. Either you need a large bin or container that can contain a large amount of nutrients, so that if you happen to be away for a while, it'll still have enough to feed the plant. So with this here, it's just not enough. And so if I leave for a few days and there's nothing left in there, it's gonna dry it up and struggle. And then once you fill the roots right here, the roots gonna die back because it's all dried up and all that stuff. And so when you fill it back up with nutrients, it's a little bit late, and so the plant will continue to try to recover using the roots, you know, the internal roots back there. Then it's going to regrow the new roots, and the air roots is that dried up and all that stuff it's dead. And so when that happens, you see, it just falls. And so I'm gonna eventually either put this in a larger container or just move it to the ground, because this little bin is not enough. It's really fun, and styrofoam bin is excellent. The reason for that is it's kind of insulated, and so the heat beats up on it. The inside is still cool, and so that's what I discovered from messing around. But I think if I have a larger styrofoam container, it's gonna work very, very well, because it keeps the heat out, so the roots can be cooler and it grows pretty well. So if you ever want to try styrofoam for hydroponic outdoor, that's a pretty good, you know, experiment to try. Okay, so here is my lemon StarrBurst. That's one right there. My lemon StarrBurst, guys, if you ever grow the variety, they're beautiful. They have super nice leaves. They're always kind of like a light greenish yellowish color like this here. Very, very beautiful. And when they grow larger, it looks even better. So there's my lemon StarrBurst there again, just a baby plant. And then here is another lemon StarrBurst right there. And this is a Hornet. This came from hydro also, guys. A while back I grew it in a small setup in hydro. I moved it out here, and look at that. It is looking beautiful. It's looking good. So I can't wait for this plant to give me some pods later in the season. But it's now getting very, very hot. So we'll see how this plant is gonna do within, in Texas heat. Okay, my habanero. Here it is, guys. Look at those enormous pods right here. Look at that size of that thing. It's huge. So I have a few, and it's still growing. This is also the same. And then, oh man, this guy here. These are Perilla. I just chopped this back a few days ago, and look at this. It came right back, like you can't even tell you chopped it. So there is my ghost pepper. I need to clean up around it. And then this is the Scotch bonnet that I crossed with a Thai pepper that I overwinter. This is like a little tree. It's starting to grow. And here is my Peach StarrKist that I overwintered. It's starting to grow back from the bottom. These little leaves kind of missing. That's from the roly-polies. They love pepper leaves. Sometimes they crawl all the way up here and eat it. And so if you can keep them away, because they do damage to baby plants. Here's another one. This one's looking okay. And every year I always let a volunteer grow. So this is a Thai cross volunteer, and it's starting to have some fruits. This is my Thai cross for sure, because I grew this bucket in the other section of the garden, and then I sprinkled some of the seeds that was from the plant last year. Same with this, you see. I just let those volunteers, if they grow big and produce fruits, they're very strong plants. So I always let a few volunteer grow. And these are gonna produce lots of pods. They're really spicy. They're beautiful too. They cross with a white Thai. So you see that? They have these little white pods, which will turn red later. Okay, so here is my KhangSta Yellow. These were grown indoors in hydroponic also. It's looking good. White ties here. Man, this thing is looking awesome. I love this variety. So there's some pods already. See that? We're gonna get a lot more this season. These things produce a lot. They look beautiful, and I love the way they taste. And these are white ties that are backup. So when the rain came, because I didn't put any holes in here, it kind of almost drown these plants. And so you see the leaves turn yellow. That's because it's drowning in water. When you see that, that's what happened. And so these are just backup. I could, you know, if the other plants die, these are the ones that I use. If not, I just leave them like this. I might put them somewhere else. We'll see. And this one here is also a hydroponic plant. Man, I'm growing all kinds of hydroponic. And then I moved this outside. Went through a shock period, but it's back and it's doing great. I forgot what variety it is. I have the label inside. And this is the Hornets. Look at this. I think this is from too much water because it's been raining so much recently. So we'll see how that would do. I hope it grows because that plant is part of my project to cross something. All right, guys. So my compost bin is right there. Look at this. These plants that are grown right next to the compost. Look at how healthy they are. Look at that. These are Korean K-nip plants. It's kind of like a shiso, but these are very popular Korean herb right here. Look at the size of these things. And it's grown next to my compost pile. This is a compost bin that I use leftover scraps from the garden. So over the years, it compacted and creates soil at the bottom, and so it's very, very healthy soil in there. Same thing with my tomato here. It grows right in front of the compost pile. This is where I collect the compost, and so the compost would fall here. And look at this. I haven't even fertilized this with much of anything, but look how healthy that is. And also, this is a volunteer. So I'm getting lots of tomato. I'm fighting the birds to get these, so that's why there's the bag, if you ever wonder why. So the birds will come and they'll eat all of the red ones. So to save me some, I put the bag on and I'll collect the red pods or the tomatoes. And I added 2 more new ones. These are from the extra container. These are the white ties. So, man, I love these plants. So I hope they will grow well, and I'll get lots of white tie pods later. And then a few more white ties that I'm trying to save as extras. So I put this in the little cup here, and it's growing pretty nicely. And so that is it, guys. So that is all for this update. So in the next one, you're probably going to see me harvest some of the hydroponic pods and maybe even trying it out. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.